I didn't become part of a larger community until I left Boston. It was a very insular life. I did get out a little bit more than my parents did, and my brother and I were pretty active with B'nai B'rith, AZA, Aleph Tzaddik Aleph organization, and during the Second World War, I was pretty active in being involved in various kinds of shows that were fundraisers to sell war bonds to help finance the war. So that got me out and about into the larger community, the larger Boston, then not just outside the West End, which was a very tight-knit society. I got out of the West End that way. There was a temple in Dorchester. It was the Mishkan Tefillah on Seaver Street in Dorchester. Was a pretty prominent shul, and there was a fairly active theater program there, run by a guy who came to be a friend, a man named Elliot Silverstein, was directing plays there. He was also directing radio shows for B'nai B'rith, radio shows which he wrote and directed, and they were Jewish stories that were broadcast on local Boston radio. So I was involved in some of that, and that got me gradually out of the community somewhat. And there were two settlement houses in my neighborhood. One was the Elizabeth Peabody House. The other was the West End House. The Elizabeth Peabody House had a broad range of programs. There was a science program. There was an athletics program, which was not major, but there was an athletics program. And there was a wonderful theater, small theater, that did productions fairly regularly. There were classes, a lot of little classrooms where people could come. It was designed to help immigrants find their way into the culture, into the society, into citizenship. So they would have a class for women on how to keep a sanitary kitchen, the proper way to brush your teeth, how to open a bank account, the things that an immigrant would not know when they arrived in the United States. And they had this wonderful science program, which my brother became very interested in. He became a scientist. He became a chemical engineer. And I was interested in the theater program, and I did plays there from the time I was 8 years old. And it was there that I acted in a production of Awake and Sing by Clifford Odets when I was 17. It made me decide this is what I have to do for the rest of my life. I'm going to be an actor. I want to do this kind of work. So they had great influence on me. And then there was the West End House, which was more social for guys to play basketball and be involved in track meets and marathons and fall of the Red Sox and that kind of stuff, much more sports oriented. And I got involved with some of that. It was a good place to go. It was a good, healthy program, and they were very helpful to me. And to become a social person, to be socialized, rather than this kind of inbred life that our apartment offered. 1948, approximately early 49, I was acting in a play at Mishkan Phillips Temple, a play called John Loves Mary, a comedy directed by Elliot Silverstein. And he was a student at Boston College. Nice, good Jewish boy in a Catholic school, Jesuit school. I don't know why he chose Boston College. He was a very bright guy. Anyway, he invited the head of the school, a Jesuit priest, to come and see the play, which he did. And after the performance, he came around to meet the cast and shook hands all around. When he got to me, he said, "What are your plans this summer?" This would have been around spring of 49. And I said, "I don't have any plans." He said, "Well, you do now. I want you in school at Boston College. We have a summer program. You should come with us." Well, it was a very nice thing to be validated by a professional theater person. So what was involved, it was a $75 tuition for the school. And he offered me a half scholarship, $37.50. He said, "If you can raise the other $37.50. I went to a man named Jack Burns, who ran the West End House. And I told him the story, and he said, we'll give you the other $37.50. And that's how I got my tuition paid for to go to Boston College for the summer of 1949. It was a wonderful theater program. It was a very intense 8 weeks of theater, acting classes, helping build sets, learn how to design a set, how to light a set. It was a wonderful training for 8 weeks. It was thrilling. And it was while I was there that I applied to the Pasadena Playhouse School of the Theater. I had saved up some money from selling vacuum cleaners. And that's how I paid for my tuition to come out here to California.